Okay, so this just isn't working. This just isn't working. Here we go with the struggle again. Hello, my name's Oasis, and I'm doing this YouTube channel to kind of, most of my followers on Instagram, my family members and friends know that I love to just post my daily life on Instagram, on my Instagram stories. Right, that's what they're called? Instagram stories, yeah. And so I kind of just want to take it like another step higher. It won't be of every day, but it'll be like the fun stuff. I'll make plans to, you know, do a DIY one day and, you know, go to the park another day and, you know, do like a dog training video on how I train my dog, stuff like that. To begin, 2018 began really great. It did, and it still is good. It still is. 2017 kind of started a good year for me. 2017, I got my approval to provide home care. Well, okay, my job, my business is providing home care to the elderly. I started a home care agency about I think 2016. And end of 2017, I got my approval to provide home care to state clients. I got my approval for that, and I think it was like a whole month or so until I got my first client. Take a call. I totally got lost where I was, but remember, I got approved to provide home care to state-funded clients, and that was in November. Got my first client, started November 17th, and 2017. And it was busy from there for like 5 months, and it was just me at the time. It was just me calling people on Indeed, posting things on Facebook, and calling people, you know, that apply. Call. I was working. I was calling people, trying to find it was, how do I say it? It wasn't busy where I didn't like it. I was busy where I was happy. I was stressed out. Granted, I was stressed out, and most of the time I was always working, and I get, you know, really sad because I couldn't find someone, or I couldn't find someone good enough, and well, it was difficult, but I liked it. I loved being busy like that. It just I don't know, it gets me going, like just going, and I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to put it in words, but it's exciting to just be busy. You know what I'm saying? All right. And I'm always appreciative of what I got. So the year's going good. Business is slow. I haven't gotten, you know, a client with a lot of hours in a few weeks, but we got clients with little hours, and we filled them. And, you know, right now it's, I don't know, like 1 o'clock, and I'm not doing anything. Yesterday, the only thing that I did that was actually work was tell my sister how much a girl got paid, because the girl wanted to know. That's it. So the days are very quiet, right? And it's not a bad thing. It's not, because work is good. I mean, work is good. Business is good. It's just not great like it was at the beginning of the year. And I mean, there's things I can do, but I'm such a procrastinator. I'm kind of all over the place. I really am. Well, let's just minimize it. Business started great. I was busy all the time, and then business is still good, but I'm not as busy. I have a lot of downtime, right? And it's still going good. I've still got a good amount of clients. I've still got a lot of aides, and you know, business is good. It's not as great as it was at the beginning of the year, but it is good. Money is consistent. I'd like it to go up, but we'll see. I gotta work a little harder for that. Right, so moving on. A lot that's helped me be patient through work is, I must say, God, because I've had very tough times. Overall, big picture, work and business has been great and good, but like there's little times, little days were just really hard, And honestly, the only thing that got me through that is God. Really, he has. I genuinely believe that if something happens, it's God's doing. Something good happens, it's God's doing. If something not so great happens, it's God's doing. I truly feel that if something good happens, it's because God aligned those stars. And I say this to Jose, which is my boyfriend, fiance, all the time. I tell him that if something good happens, it's because God aligned the stars. And it all comes together. Like when things get really rough, it all comes together. When times get hard, I honestly just trust in God. Like I just leave it in God's hands and it all comes together. Most of the year things have gone well. When things happen, I just rely on God. And when good things happen, I am thankful to God because I know it was his doing. And I know that I work hard for my business, but if it wasn't in God's plan for me, it wouldn't happen. I work very hard for something to happen, but God has given me the strength to work that hard to get where I am. And that's just kind of how I'll leave it. Well, now that we've closed that subject and we've closed the subject of God, we'll just go into talking about how and who has helped me be a stronger person, has pushed me to rely and have faith in God. So that's my therapist, and I've been going to her for, a little under or over 3 years. I don't know. But she's really taught me, well, you know what? At first, I was just going there and just talking. But eventually, I learned, I think a year in, I realized that how much it had helped me. There was places in my life that I was very self-conscious about, and I learned why. Why am I so conscious about that? And I learned not to care about that stuff. And I really won't go into details about that because it's very private to my life. So, but there's so much she's taught me. She's taught me to love myself and care about myself. She's taught me to have confidence in myself. She pushed me to start my business. She literally printed the forms for me. Printed the forms and said, this is how you fill out the LLC form. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. And she pushed me, and honestly, I am so thankful to her for my business, because I don't know if I'd be where I am today if it wasn't for her. I'd probably still be trying to look for a lawyer if it wasn't for her. I'd still be trying to look for like the proper way to submit like the LLC, the proper way to get insurance. Yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about that. Another subject that I like to talk about is my dog. His name was Keeko, and he was, I think, 2 years and 3 months when he passed. Keeko was kind of like my best friend. And he still is my best friend. He helped me through a lot. He taught me patience. He really taught me patience. I got my dog and I wanted to do all these fun things, and I did a lot of those fun things with him. And when we got Keeko, he was like the most adorablest little thing, sweetest little dog. And as he got older, he kind of got very protective of Jose and I, and we couldn't really bring him places anymore. We used to bring him to all of Jose's football games, and he lunged at one of my good friends and kind of nipped her boob, and that's when I knew that's enough. I can't bring him places. I would still bring him out because I didn't want to confine him just to the house. So I would still bring him out, but I'd keep my distance. Eventually we went on and we bought a shot collar for him, because I was watching these videos of this guy called Jeff Gelman and his company, which is Solid Canine, and the way they train their dogs is just mind-blowing to me. It was great. It was just a great way to look at dogs. It was just a great strategy on training dogs, and I went in and I just bought the shock collar, bought the bark collar, bought the prong collar, bought everything that, you know, he was telling us to buy. And I really wanted to send him there for board and train because Keeko was never a bad dog. Keeko was great. Keeko was great in my home. He was great when we walked by people, but it was walking by dogs that wasn't easy. It was, he was spontaneously bad. Sometimes he was good, sometimes he was bad. Most of the time he was good walking past people, but then there was times where it just wasn't easy, especially walking past dogs, walking around dogs. At the dog park, he played just fine. And I was just getting to the point where I wanted to walk him past the dog. I wanted to walk him in the park and not have him pulling me and lunging and barking. But in the house, like, he sat when he was told to. He's a big dog, and big dogs need a lot of work and to get their energy wasted. And I didn't have to do that. I mean, I'd take him out a lot. But if I told him to lay down and relax, he'd lay down and relax. I told him to go to his bed, he'd stay in his bed till I told him to get out of his bed. I tell him to go to his crate, he'd go to his crate. His crate was kind of like his bedroom. He would always go into it and just hang out there. There was a boundary that between the living room or the dining room and the kitchen that he couldn't pass until I gave him the okay to start eating. Because I'd put his food down and I'd have him do a few little tricks, and then I'd say, it's eat time, or eat, and then he would eat. Overall, his obedience was great. He was a great dog. He was a nice dog to our family. But outdoors and out in public places, he always felt the need to protect us, and we took him everywhere. We took him to Virginia, we took him to Florida, we took him to Georgia. He went to a lot of places with us. He stayed at the hotels with us, and even at hotels that you're not supposed to have dogs, he was quiet, he was good, and we were able to do it. Most of the hotels we stayed at were dog friendly hotels, and I think we broke the rules once and we didn't get caught for it because Keeko was so good. I still wanted to send him to this training place, and I looked at the prices and it was just way more than what I wanted to pay. I really got very sad because I wanted him to go to this training, and their like way of training is just great. So I got a little sad, and you know, I was like, no, whatever. I'm gonna watch all his videos and I'm gonna train Keeko. Every moment was a training moment. You know, I didn't want him to cross over a boundary, go into the kitchen, then I would tell him to wait. I didn't want him to run out of the door, so I would use that as a training moment. I would let him pass the door until I gave him the okay. I told him to heel. We use German words for him, so I'd tell him to Fuß, and that was heel, so he'd heel. It was just outdoors that I couldn't seem to control him. Business was growing and things were going good, so eventually I had enough money to send him to this training facility. And right before we sent him, Keeko was not feeling well for 3 days. I think 3 or 4 days full, he was not eating. And I tried everything. I bought new dog food, and I thought it was because he was mad at me because I was sending him away for 3 weeks. And I thought he knew, and that's why he wasn't eating. So on the last day that we were gonna have him home, no, the day before, he ate that night. And I was so happy, Jose was so happy, and you know, we thought it was just nothing. And then we sent him training, and we're watching all these videos, and it was going great. He was doing so good. I think the first day he was already a changed dog. Not that I wanted him to be a different dog, because when he came home, he wasn't a different dog. He was still the same dog. He just knew how to act around other dogs. He knew, and he was confident enough that those people and those dogs were not going to do anything to me, so then he could relax. He didn't have to protect me anymore. So one day they called me and they told me one Sunday, I think it was a Sunday, they called me and they told me, well, he hasn't been eating. He hasn't ate since Wednesday, and it was Sunday. So I thought, okay, maybe he's just, you know, he ate something bad. And that's what I genuinely thought. And then as the day goes on, Monday still hasn't ate, and pickup day was that coming Wednesday. He still hasn't ate. So I started getting nervous. I started thinking to myself, well, maybe something's actually wrong. And we went to the first I think, training session involving us on Tuesday, and oh my God, was he skinny. We went to the first training session, which was on a Tuesday, and he was so skinny, and I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong, but then they told me, you know, he might have like something wrong with his anal gland. I don't know what it was called. And that's why he hasn't been eating, because he doesn't want to poop, because it hurts when he poops or something. So we left him the night. They were like, you know what, just leave him, come pick him up tomorrow. So we left him, and we came back on Wednesday. I think I might have the days confused. We went back on Wednesday, and we went to pick him up. We were so happy. He was doing so good. And maybe he was doing incredibly great because he was sick. We took him to the vet as soon as we got back to Connecticut. We took him to the vet, and the vet said, you know what, he just might have a stomach ache, but I just want to take some blood work. So he took the blood work, called me the next day, and told me to rush him to the hospital. So we rushed him to the hospital, and that's when the vet kind of told us that it wasn't good based on the readings that she was getting, his blood work that she was getting, that it wasn't good, and that it was something serious, and that something was wrong with his kidneys. So she asked to leave him for 3 days overnight, and we left him for 2 days. And just like as the time passed, the hours that we were away, we kind of knew that he didn't have much time. So I didn't want to leave him there the 3rd day, so I brought him home. And oh my gosh, I think this is good for me though. I think crying it out is good for me, because I haven't cried a lot. So we picked him up, and we were like, you know what, maybe he'll get better. Maybe he'll get better. And for 3 days, man, was he better. He did so good, and I genuinely thought he was getting better. He was eating, he was doing so good, and something inside of me just told me to spend as much time with him as I possibly could. So we were like every minute of the day, just time with him. We took him to the park, we took him out, we did as much as we could. And then I think like the 5th day, he just got really, really bad. He just got really bad. Just really, really bad. Yeah, he couldn't do much. He just, he couldn't do much. He just kind of laid there and didn't want to be bothered. He couldn't jump on my bed anymore, and at this point he was sleeping in our bedroom. I always kept him in his crib, but he was sleeping in our bedroom, and we just knew it was you know, he wasn't gonna be with us for long. And I think, and that was our last day with him. His worst day was kind of our last day with him, and he was just sick. But like on his last day, I like to say that his last day was our worst, me and Jose's worst, best day, because obviously he passed that day, but Jose proposed that day, which has honestly kept me so happy, and kind of, it's just kept me really happy. But the way I get through this, honestly, is God, right? I trust in God, and I know that God does everything for a reason. And I was sad. For a week, I didn't tell anybody but my family. For a week, I didn't post anything on social media. And I was just kind of to myself, and I let it out. Everything was sad. Everything was sad, and everything just made me tear up and cry. But I knew everything. I know that everything happens for a reason, and God wouldn't throw anything my way that I couldn't handle. I trust in God, and that helps me. That genuinely helps me. there's days where I'm still very sad, and moments where I can't even look at pictures of him because it's just very sad, and I remember his personality, and it just sucks, and I get very sad. So I just try to think of the happy moments, and that's how I've gotten through this so fast, because I think of the happy moments and I appreciate all the happy moments that I had with him. I just know that God is taking care of me. I ask God to give me the strength to not cry, not break down, and not think of the sad situations. And most of his life, I was happy, he was happy. Yeah, life has, you know, these rough patches, but we always got through them. And I don't know much to say, but that I'm happy I was Keeko's parent. I'm happy that God put him in my life. The one thing I learned, and the one thing that Keeko taught me, out of all the things I taught him, the one thing that I taught him, the one thing that he taught me that I'll have for the rest of my life is patience. Keeko truly taught me patience. I had to learn to be more responsible, to take him out at a certain time, because I was the controller of his life. If I didn't take him outside, he would pee inside. Whose fault was that? My fault. If I didn't put my socks away, he'd eat my socks. Whose fault was that? My fault. Not his fault. It was my fault. Because of him, I'm a very patient person. Or I like to think of myself as a very patient person. There's a lot of things that I'm not patient with still, and I'm working on. But thank you to Keeko. With Keeko passing and leaving us behind, around that same time, Jose proposed, and I'm very excited about that. A lot of the videos I'll be posting are probably going to be wedding stuff, and planning a wedding, how I'm planning my wedding. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. My year has been great. There was a bit of a downfall. I don't know what it was, but there was a bit of a downfall, which was losing my best friend, my dog, which I'm getting through. I am. But besides that, my year has been great, and it still is good. I mean, I try not to think of the sad things and the negative things, but my year has been good. My year has been good, and I don't know how 2019 will be. Hopefully it'll be good too. Hopefully it'll be better. I plan on working a lot. I plan on working a lot on my wedding, or planning on my wedding, and yeah. Gosh, golly, I don't know what else to say. Subscribe, like, follow me on the other social medias, which is only Facebook and Instagram, please, por favor. And I really don't, I know there's a lot of things that I want to do on my channel, but there's a lot of things I don't know what to do. Like, I have a whole schedule of what the next few videos will be, but I keep getting stuck past like 4. So if there's things that you would like to see, let me know. Help me out. I do want to do a video on how I plan to pay for, or how me and Jose plan to pay for our wedding, and what is priority and what isn't. A video like that, let me know if you'd like to see that. I'm going to Nashville. By the time I post this, I'll probably be in Nashville, and I have an awesome surprise that I'll be happening, and I'll be coming home with. Gosh, I don't know how to talk. I'm still sick. A lot of my friends and family know that I've been sick for maybe 3 weeks, and I'm just now getting better. So, but yeah, I have a big surprise. This is my first video, and my first video was kind of about who I am. My next few videos will be fun. Lots of fun stuff that I do in my life. So, totally follow, please. Or whatever. I mean, not whatever, because I want you to follow. So just follow or follow. Okay, and tell me what you'd like to see. Please give me ideas on what I should be doing. Okay, goodbye. Deuces.